Hi, how are you, Bettina? Hi, Lori. How's everybody doing? Just getting these candles lit. It's like winter out right now, so it feels good to light candles. Kind of cozy. I don't know if anybody saw the article that I posted today about the two women who are stuck up in the Arctic. They were on an expedition and then the pandemic happened. And they're living in like a 250 square foot cabin in these extreme conditions. And they're surrounded by like polar bears and different kinds of wild animals. And anyway, they don't know if they're going to be able to get out before. They're hoping to get out in the fall, but oh, Bettina, I've been so drowsy all afternoon. Hi, Misan. Yeah, super sleepy day today. I guess I needed it. I just decided like midway through the day to just sort of succumb to it and kind of laid around on the couch. And yeah, you should look on my Facebook page and read that little article about the women who are stranded in the Arctic. They're like in their late 50s and they they're collecting data, I think, about global warming and stuff, and they're able to feed that to other scientists. But one of the things that they said about being stuck in this tiny, teeny little cabin, they said they do yoga, which is amazing. They have to get completely suited up in like these enormous amounts of clothing to even go outside because it's so cold there. But the way they survive is by keeping a routine, they said. So they, get up at the same time every day and they eat together. And anyway, it was kind of inspiring, actually. You should check it out if you haven't already. So that's been one of my goals, and also occasionally a struggle for me is to keep on my daily routines. When I started doing this puzzle, I have been staying up too late, and that is having a negative effect on my general overall emotional state. So I'm going to try to go to bed early tonight, which for me means like be in bed by 10:30 with my device turned off or something. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. But it's funny because I, doing this thing night after night, I'm always like thinking up new ideas and, thinking about what I'm going to do and what kind of material I want to bring forward. And most of the time I just wing it, but I feel like I go to I look at different meditations and it's all the same stuff. Like there's new tricks you can, find here and there, and I'm always happy when I find a new like breathing technique or something, but I don't know. It's really like doing the same thing over and over again in a routine way that I think is ultimately beneficial for us. So having a practice. And I've really been thinking about this idea of practice and what is it, and mindfulness. I mean, I'm constantly thinking about this stuff because like in prison, there's a lot of guys who will say like that they can't meditate, and I don't want to tell somebody who's in solitary confinement to sit quietly and breathe. I mean, if they want to do that, if they can develop their own practice in that way, that's great. But I really encourage people to do whatever it is that feels to them like the thing that brings them into a calm, contemplative state, or self-reflective state, or brings their nervous system, into a state of greater calm. So there are a lot of guys who like to draw, and drawing is very meditative for them. And some guys rock, like they'll sit and they'll rock, or they do other kinds of movement, yoga or sometimes, or weightlifting or calisthenics. Oh, hi Laura, you just started again. I'm a little headachy too. Maybe there's some kind of low pressure system pressing down on us today or something, I don't know. It feels like a fog came over as far as my energy level, and then I have this little headachy thing, so. But anyway, so I'm always like encouraging people to not think that they have to sit necessarily every day. I mean, ideally we'd all have a seated meditation practice, but that isn't possible for each person for different reasons. So I would just encourage you, it's great if you can show up here and be guided through a relaxing meditation, or if you can carve out your space to sit every day, that's wonderful. But also think about walking, drawing. Doing this puzzle has been very meditative, if you want to use that word. It brings me into the moment, into a state of focused calm. And of course meditation and mindfulness is wrapped up with spiritual practice as well, and for some people that can be very specific. So lots of ways to play, as Key would say. So before we come onto our back and lie down, I was thinking we could maybe do a couple rounds of this stress breath, which includes tucking the chin and holding the breath, which I guess works with the vagus nerve. So basically I'll just talk you through it. It's just about an inhale to probably about a count of 6, pausing, tucking the chin, holding the breath, retaining the breath, relaxing as you retain the breath. And I will count back from 5, and then just slowly lifting the chin as you exhale. Again, and we could do that, we could draw the exhale out a little bit. So find your seat, find your sit bones, and kind of bring yourself into a place where you feel balanced. Let your spine rise up. Let your lower body be heavy. And you could close your eyes. I'm sitting up on my bolster. You might be sitting on a cushion or sitting up on something. You could even be sitting in a chair. Whoops, sorry. I think the stress breath is best to do seated. So feel how your shoulder blades you can lift them up and then you can let them kind of slide. So just a couple times, raise the shoulders up and roll them back down. Feel how the chest can be more open, and then just let your muscles relax, still feeling the length in your spine. And just bring yourself into the awareness of your breath without any trying to control it. Just feel the breath coming in and out through your nose. You might close your eyes. You can lean up against something, Jade. You could lean against a wall or sit in a chair. You can also come onto your back. Your choice. And remember that we're not trying to be completely rigid when we're sitting. We're trying to find some movement in our spine and be kind of like there's a buoyancy in our spine. It's not just straight and rigid. So it takes practice to sit, and it's not always comfortable. So I would encourage you to find a way to do it that suits your body. So see if you can relax the face, relax your jaw, and then start to extend your breath. Just make it a little bit more full and deep. Feel how the rib cage expands with the breath, and how your belly also expands as you inhale. And as you exhale, just gently draw your belly in to help push the air out. So you're making room for the diaphragm to move. And then we'll start to do the stress breath. So inhale, we'll say to the count of 6. And then pause at the top and tuck your chin for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're retaining the breath. I forgot to say that. And then slowly lift the chin. Exhale all the air out. Then inhale. Pause at the top, retain the breath, let your shoulders relax, your face relax. Tuck the chin for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly lift your chin as you exhale all the air out. And when I say tuck the chin, do it gently. Inhale. Pause at the top, tuck your chin, retain the breath. Let your shoulders relax for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lift the chin and exhale all the air out. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, letting your belly expand. Pause at the top, tuck your chin, retain the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale all the air out as you lift your chin. Last one. Inhale. Keeping your face and shoulders relaxed. Pause, retain the breath. Tuck your chin for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lift the chin and exhale all the air out. And then just resume your natural breathing. Relaxing your face. And make your way onto your back if that's more comfortable for you for the rest of this meditation. Bringing yourself to your spot on your back. And allowing your body to be in relationship with gravity in such a way that you don't have to use much effort, muscular effort in your body. So you are comfortable enough on your back, on the floor, that you can really release and allow gravity to completely support you. Allow the floor to be completely supporting your body. So all of the tension that's required with the tissues of your body to hold it together will happen without you stiffening any further. So you can really soften. And you might just begin to, again, just bring your awareness to your breath. You could close your eyes, possibly covering your eyes. And just feeling the effects of that short breathing practice. I was taught that by the Holistic Life Foundation, who they're an organization in Baltimore, Maryland, who go into schools. You've probably seen them like on Facebook because there were a lot of articles about how they do mindfulness with kids in schools, and rather than sending kids to detention or suspension or whatever they do, they have like a mindfulness room, and they teach the kids breathing techniques, and they teach the kids how to teach other kids. So all of their techniques are simple and really good tools, especially to be used in situations like in the schools. But they've had great success with mindfulness in their schools. So just letting your breath be natural now, feeling the back of your rib cage against the floor. See if you can let the lower ribs settle back towards the floor. So sometimes our lower rib cage will kind of jut up and the back of the ribs won't really touch the floor. And so see if you can kind of coax some heaviness and softness into the whole back of your rib cage, including the lower ribs, so that it's able to really soften and relax. Almost as if I came over, and this has really happened to me in a yoga class. I came over and I put a sandbag in Iyengar yoga. They use a lot of different props, and one of the props that some of the studios had, it's been many, many years since I've been to an Iyengar yoga class, but they had sandbags and they used them for different things. And they would come over sometimes and put them over our lower rib cage to help kind of release that pattern of kind of thrusting the ribs forward. And it feels very relaxing. So you probably don't have a sandbag handy, but you could imagine that I'm just coming up to you and draping a sandbag over your lower ribs, which is allowing this heaviness in the rib cage and this softness and relaxation. It's funny how we cross our arms over the front of our body to protect ourselves. Especially teenage girls do this, probably because they're just getting their boobs and it's embarrassing and uncomfortable, but crossing their arms. And also, we also kind of jut forward in our lower ribs, so it's like finding the place where we're just comfortable. Like Jade, you mentioned that you don't feel comfortable sitting straight up like this. So imagining when you're on the floor like this, bringing the same feeling that you have of being comfortable on your back there into an upright position. And, maybe you sit upright like this just for a minute or two every day in a conscious way, practicing feeling the movements of your spine and your rib cage. And you could lean up against a wall or sit in a chair to do it, but just kind of working with this upright posture in different ways to practice making it more comfortable. So noticing if your face is holding on to any crazy facial expressions, like I am known to furrow my brow or kind of screw up my eyes. So notice if you're holding on to any, maybe it's not that dramatic, but any like wrinkling in your forehead, or maybe that little spot in between your eyes, or perhaps it's in your jaw. So you might bring your hands up and just feel into your jaw and see if you can kind of massage a little bit into the muscles that feel tense there. Just pressing on them gently, coming down around the bottom of the jaw. And then just bring your hands back down and let your jaw be more relaxed. Feeling your tongue settling in your mouth. So you might let your tongue, if you're laying on your back, just let your tongue relax onto the bottom of your mouth, like the bottom of your mouth is a little bed for your tongue, that it can totally relax there and take a break from all of the work it does to talk and make words and chew food and all of those things. And the tongue has muscles in it too, so just letting that, all of those muscles soften. Letting your jaw be slightly parted. You might be able to feel like there's more salivation happening in your mouth. This is very relaxing to your nervous system when you salivate. So you might even imagine, what if you were like sucking on a piece of lemon right now? Can you imagine that? It sounds weird, but it might make you salivate a little bit more. And this is part of the calming of the nervous system. Like when we have a massage or when we're really, really out cold in our sleep and we're drooling. It's funny how we can do things with our posture and with our face, and we can do things to try to elicit a response. Like if we smile, it might make us feel a little bit uplifted. Or if we relax the forehead, it might make us feel more relaxed. And we can also get that response by relaxing. So we can get our forehead to naturally relax as we focus on just relaxing. Like our forehead will relax. So it's kind of like it's like a loop. So that's why breathing is so important when we're stressed, because we can actually trick ourselves into being calmer if we take deeper breaths. And some of these other things, like we know that relaxing the forehead has a calming effect. So if we consciously relax our forehead and we consciously drool a little bit, all of these things bring us into this greater state of calm and, sympathetic nervous system response, parasympathetic nervous system response. It's like fake it till you make it, kinda. So taking some more breaths here into this relaxed body. Noticing if there's anywhere in your body right now that's resisting. Like if you can feel a place where you could send a little bit of your breath. You could direct the breath. So if you have any pain or discomfort in your body, you could direct some breath there. Just like exercising, moving our bodies is so important for our mental health and for our bringing ourselves into a greater parasympathetic nervous system response. It's like we have to put ourselves through the motions sometimes, even when we don't feel like it. Like those ladies at the Arctic in their teeny tiny cabin. It must be really challenging to get up every day in your 215 square foot cabin or whatever. It's very tiny. And face the day. You'd have to go through the motions. You'd really have to force yourself to get dressed and make your breakfast and do all of the things that lead to a greater sense of normalcy and well-being. Just like me not going to bed and staying up late working on my puzzle. I'm going to have to make myself get up out of the chair, stop doing the puzzle, go brush my teeth, and go to bed. And you might have to do that too. You might have to use your willpower in such a way to benefit your whatever the next steps are. It's like you say, the hard part about going to yoga is getting into your car and driving to the studio. Once you're there, it happens and you feel good and it's great. It's getting there. It's kind of like that with a lot of things. So there's a place for willpower. I remember one time I was going to this yoga teacher and I made some dumb remark about surrender to her, about isn't willpower kind of a bad thing? Or I don't know, I said something kind of clueless, and she just laughed at me. She's like, willpower is very important. How would you ever get here if you didn't have any willpower? Anyway, so just learning how to apply, how to use your willpower to move you, propel you in the right direction. And then, of course, surrender is also incredibly important, and you might be doing that right now, surrendering your body, maybe surrendering your mind as well. Some people say, like, giving it over, or I forget what the other expression is. Offering it up. So just taking a few more breaths here. And then if you're on your back and you're going to come back into your evening, you might begin to just imagine the willpower it will take to bring yourself back up to your seat. And then apply it. And come back to your seat. We're only going to be in our seat for a minute. So bringing yourself back up and finding your spine, so in a comfortable way. Posture is not a static thing, so if we're used to rounding forward a lot, it's going to be uncomfortable to be sitting up straight and stiff. So maybe we just move a tiny bit away from our rounded position at first, moving into better habits slowly. As we say with medication, we would titrate a medication, a lot of different kinds of medications. We don't just put somebody on like the highest dose, we give them a little bit and then a little bit more. It's like the opposite of weaning. So maybe we're titrating our posture. So just a few breaths here in your upright position. Keeping that relaxed face. That might be one of the best things you can do if you're feeling stressed during the day, is just relax your face. Relax your jaw. Let yourself drool a little bit. Imagine sucking on a lemon. Let your forehead relax. Imagine somebody injecting Botox right into the middle of your forehead, but it's actually not real Botox. It's just like this special, magical, imaginative Botox. And then you might bring your hands together at your heart, and you could bow your head to your practice, or maybe to your practices. Maybe you have more than one practice. To your own inner teacher, your best teacher, to your higher self or your higher power. Namaste. I hope you have a peaceful evening and that you all have a good night's sleep, and I'll be going to bed a little earlier tonight because I'm going to titrate myself back from this crazy puzzle late night habit. I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.